Hey guys, this is Braden Smith. And today I'm going to tell you how you can make your own raised bed garden. And this can be primarily based off if you're going to do a vegetable or any type of fruit garden this year. So here's a few steps on how you can get that started. First, you're going to want to choose the location of your garden this year. You're going to want to find a spot that gets at least 6 hours of sun. That way you can maximize the potential of your garden and also find an area with good air circulation. The reason this is important because you want plenty of airflow to take out any excess moisture out of your garden, because if you get any moisture buildup, you're gonna end up having some type of disease spread in your garden and you're just not gonna have the outcome you want. Next, we're gonna choose our raised beds, and that's including the dimensions and the type of wood we like to use. For the wood I like to use is an untreated cedar or an untreated pine. Those are really great types of woods. Once I get those put together, I'll put some type of natural organic oil on them to seal them so they'll last a long time. Also, for the dimensions, I like a 4x4 foot or a 3x6 foot. And the reason I like those dimensions is because it allows me to work on all areas of my bed without being impeded on. I don't have to worry about having to reach over and to work on one area of the garden. It's really easy, really manageable. So those are some really good dimensions. And I really like a foot of depth of soil. I don't like anything under or over because I just think either or is a little excessive. So a foot of depth is perfect. Next, we're going to choose our soil. So I like using some that's really rich in organic matter. So my go-to is a mixture of compost and manure. This is going to give the plants that you're growing this year all the nutrients they need. It's really rich, it's really fertile, and your plants are going to thrive in it. Now, before we go any further, you got to think about to fence or not to fence. If you have any type of pets or any critters in your area that are going to eat up your garden, dig it up, make sure you fence it in. But luckily for you, if y'all have any type of elevated planters, then you don't have to worry about this. But if you have anything on the ground, fence that sucker up. Next, we're going to choose a fertilizer for our garden. So for all my raised beds, whatever type of vegetable, whatever type of fruit I'm growing, I'm always going to use some type of all-purpose type of fertilizer for my base. And then I'll add some type of extra component to my fertilizer depending on what I'm growing. So if I'm growing some type of leafy greens, I'll use a blood meal. So back to this also, I really like using organic stuff. I don't like using all the processed fertilizers. These are more slow released and they're just gonna be better for your garden in general. But back to the blood meal, this is really high in nitrogen. It's gonna help basically leafy foliage grow. So really good for leafy type of greens. So blood meal for leafy greens, and then bone meal for everything else. Bone meal is gonna help create a great base for your plants. They're gonna just develop a strong root system, a great foundation, and it's a great Kickstarter for if you have any starter plants that you're gonna put in your garden. But definitely go with this for every other plant you put in there. Now we wanna consider what type of companion plants we wanna put in our garden. Companion plants are the plants you're gonna plant next to your primary crop in order to benefit them in some type of way. That can either be by repelling pests, attracting pollinators, helping improve soil conditions, or fixing nutrients into the soil that are going to benefit your primary crop. So some examples of companion plants would be marigolds, sunflowers, lavender, sweet pea. There's a variety of different type of plants. You can also plant certain vegetables together that are companions for one another, such as like beans and squash. So those are some examples. For me, my favorite companion plant is putting marigolds in every single one of my raised beds. The reason is I think they're the powerhouse of all companion plants because they're drought tolerant. They improve soil conditions by killing nematodes, repel pests, they attract pollinators, and they look great. Very low maintenance, and they just do a whole lot for very little. So love those, but definitely consider getting some companion plants in your raised beds this year. Last but not least, we're going to be choosing the plants you want to put in your garden this year. Whether that's from seed or from a starter plant, just have fun with it. Now, my only recommendation would be make sure you're planting plants that are going to thrive in your region, and also make sure you don't plant prematurely. Because if you're in Indiana like I am, you get a few days of really nice weather and then the next day it's snowing. So be careful. Make sure you check the weather. Make sure you check that 7-day forecast. Make sure all the temperatures are pretty steady and warm. And I guarantee you, you're going to have a great garden this year and it's going to thrive. So it's really easy to make a raised bed garden. Doesn't take up much space, and you'll have a lot of fun with it. Thanks for watching, guys.